Whoa. Sound problem there. Sorry about that, everyone. Messed up a little bit. Well, welcome. Welcome to Clobberrn Time, issue number 35, or actually issue number 735. Because that's how we roll. We put our legacy numbering from our old 11 years and 700 episodes on Blog Talk Radio up until this past April. I hope you're all hearing me. I don't have a sound checker anymore, like in the old days. So I hope I am being heard. We shall see. If you would be so kind, let me know that you are. I want to thank everyone who has popped in early here. The beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous, and sweet and lovely Purple Valkyrie of the great Rise of the Valkyries, of course, and of course one of the wonderful friends of Valhalla and the great Stone Loki, by the way. And I thank the great Stone Loki of Loki's Mornings of Mischief channel, that great channel, for making that spectacular intro for me. I really appreciate it. It is all me, and I do appreciate him so much for that. And the wonderful Purple Valkyrie, of course, is part of the Great Valkyries. If you've not checked out her channel, there are links to the Rise of the Valkyries channel in my description below, and the links of many other great friends and here on YouTube that I have made over the past few months, my short time being here. I want to thank, oh my goodness, I'm honored to have the great King of the Wrenches, the magnificent Chris Persia. Always a pleasure to see you, sir. Tom Hayes, thank you for that sound check, by the way. Welcome here, Tom Hayes. The great Mark C., my sometimes partner in crime, who I've done many shows with, and I hope to do many more, man. It's tough to pick a topic. Well, Mark, I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is a brand new headset. I have a really old one that I have not been able to tell whether this one sounds any different or not. Did I say Tom? Dude, Tom? Yeah, I did not mean to say Tom. I can't believe it. Well, Tim Hayes, I apologize for that. I have dyslexia, I would suppose. I don't know. But I thank you for being here nonetheless. You'd think I'd be able to read after, being so old, right? But I do thank you for being here, Tim. Thank you very much. So I'm glad you corrected me, because I did not even know that I'd said that. So dumb I am. Oh my goodness. Where am I? Learn how to navigate some parts of StreamYards here. Yeah. So, well, I got you, Tim. I appreciate that, man. I do apologize. The wonderful Purple Valkyrie. She may. Looks like. Oh, there you are, Purple. You're up late, my dear. Up late over there, huh? Yeah. It's been a stressful time here in our country, and I just wanted to. I just needed something. I had a great time, by the way. I want to thank the great Noel of the Tartar Zone for having me on this afternoon. I had a wonderful time hanging out with Noel and my good Blake 7 buddy, Problem Being, who is a wonderful gentleman, and my new buddy Ninja Knight, and I was on there for almost like 3 hours or something like that with them. They went over 4 hours today, and again had a blast. I had just a marvelous time there. I talked to Michael French again. He did talk to her a few months ago. Oh, he has not recorded an interview with. I thank you, Tim. Okay. Well, if he does, I'll watch for that. I spoke with Michael the other day about some stuff, but I didn't ask him about that. But yeah, Michael French, of course. Also, yes, Michael French. I know you mentioned him. The great Retro Blasting. It is a fantastic channel, and of course, Michael and Melinda are great friends of mine. Been friends for almost a decade with those wonderful people, and they have. If any of you are into 80s, if you're a child of the 80s or teen of the 80s or whatever, you love the cartoons of the 80s, toys and you know a lot of the pop culture of the 80s. It's not their complete focus 80s. They'll go a little bit beyond that once in a while into the 90s or something like that. But I think it's safe to say that a lot of their stuff comes from the 80s and things like that. Yes. Okay. Oh, the Retro Blasting Christmas special, and they do great videos. And of course, every Saturday at 2 Eastern, they do a great live stream where they pick a topic, of course, and then at the end of the live stream, I don't know where they're putting all this stuff anymore. They get tons and tons of gifts from all over their fans. They have fans from everywhere, from all over the world, and it's always like a little unboxing thing. And man, I did not think my chat could get any more beautiful than as beautiful as the wonderful Purple Valkyrie makes of it. Now the lovely and unbelievably beautiful Raquel Briggs, my great friend, and I'm also first officer in Star Trek on my Enterprise. And has popped in, and I wave back at you, Raquel, and I hope we get to do a show soon. And I'm absolutely so pleased to see you. Thank you for popping in. I do appreciate that. Yes, Mark C., we agree with that, but we agree on that one, my friend. The 80s were glorious. Yes, indeed. And but yes, again, big thanks and shout out. Do I need a P.O. box? I don't need to. I wouldn't have much use for a P.O. box, Mark. I don't think if I would. I barely get much of anything in the mail anyway. But they must have like 5 P.O. boxes, the Retro Blasting, getting all of the gifts they get. But I hope to. Let's see here. Tim, let's switch to there. I contributed a wedding present for Michael and Melinda. A bunch of Patreon supporters of Retro Blastings bought them a Roomba. You know, I must confess to my friend, I don't know if I know what a Roomba is. Please enlighten me, and then I'm going to feel like a dumbass when you tell me what it is. But, I don't believe I know what that is, sir. Oh my God, I'm such a dunce. But anyway, this coming Saturday night, we're finally going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it well. I don't know if I'm the man for the job. Hopefully, my friend Claude will be joining me to help me. You know, he better, because he said he would. But we're going to finally tackle the history of Star Trek comics. Now, you all know me too well to know I don't do a deep dive in terms of research or anything like that. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants and try to remember a lot of things. But I do a little, I go back and read a few things. I go back and brush up a little. Because, again, I think that this format really means you you have a very limited amount of time if it's a big subject, and you just kind of give a brief. Besides, you're not telling everyone what happens in these comic books. You're just covering the basic history, like a timeline sort of thing. Oh, the robot cleaning thingy. Well, no, I've seen those on TV. Electric robot. Okay. Bloody hell. It's an R2 unit. I did not know those. That's what they were called. Thank you, Tim and Raquel. Now I know. And knowing is half the what. So, again, that's going to be a challenge. We're going to just try to cover basically, the timeline of Star Trek comic books. We all know that Star Trek has been a comic book for almost as long as it's been on television, and it started a long time ago, and it's changed hands in on many different points in its comic book career. Gold Key, UK comics, comic strips, Marvel, DC, Marvel again, DC, Malibu, Wildstorm, IDW. So, and I have, well, thank you, Raquel. I think it's a pretty good topic. I don't know. I'm sure it has been broached by Abler against them myself, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to see what happens. And of course, I would also like to thank. I had a marvelous time. Monday night with Carlos, who joined me, my friend Carlos, a longtime friend, talking about my all-time favorite comic book character, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, the ever-loving idol of millions. And we tried to just do a very basic rundown of his history and talk about some of his best stories. I hope we did that okay. There are all kinds of things I missed that I would have liked to have talked about that were just, you have so much time in the day. And when you get Carlos talking on one story, this is this crazy bastard just knows. He has this memory that I've always envied. He could remember every bit of a comic book that he read in 1987. And it's uncanny. I don't mean uncanny X-Men. Whereas I forget what I did I forget what I did 5 minutes ago. So I have a very dangerous memory. I call it dangerous memory. Yes, I just forget so much. So he is a comic book encyclopedia, and so you get him talking on a story he liked, and he will go on for a long time. So I knew that we couldn't go all that in depth of a deep dive on the Thing's character, but I wanted to just do a lot of the basics, talk about his early beginnings, just things like that, and then talk about some of his better stories. And I think we did that. Obviously, there's some other things I would like to have covered. But anyway, I had a fantastic time. Ben Grimm is my favorite all-time comic book character. I love him. I relate to him in the strange way, and I won't go into my deep-seated neurotic reasons why, but I do, and I love him, and that's why, look, after doing the show for 11 years and now 5 episodes, it was time to do a show. I don't remember doing a show devoted to the Thing. If I did it, it was so long ago I'd forgotten. And we do Star Trek shows all the time. We've done some Doctor Who shows. We're doing more of those. Of course, Blake's 7 shows. Recently, I've done that kind of stuff. Shows about the Prisoner in the past I've done, which I'll do again. But I'd never really done a show about the Thing, and that's where my name of my show comes from. Too many people draw the Thing with segments that are too small, and he starts looking weird. Yeah, I don't know about you, Mark. And again, I just prefer the old classic looks anyway. I'm the old fogey that likes that stuff anyway. But this, for example, obviously Kirby's my favorite Thing artist. Byrne is yours. But anywhere in between there is where I want the Thing to be. For example, I love, Rich Buckler is kind of doing a Kirby rip right here. Joe Sinnott makes all the difference. And this is, aside from Kirby, this is the way I want the Thing to look. I love this panel right here. This is a wonderful panel of a splash page of an issue of FF from the early 70s. I forget the exact issue number. This is when Ben, he got turned back into Ben Grimm for a while. And it was in this Power Man, Luke Cage. Power Man had taken over Ben's part of the FF. But anyway, when it comes to I'm very picky, as I'm sure you are, Mark, about how the Thing is drawn, and so that was kind of a key for me. I don't really like how anyone draws him these days, but he's got to at least look like that. Again, here was Kirby. This is how the character evolved. Kirby in various inkers up until he got Sinon inking him, consistently. But for me, it's got to be this, or some of the other ones. Tim, I tell you, I can't do that. And look, I can read the comic 15 billion times and still forget things. I used to be able to quote Watchmen backwards and forwards, and now when I try to do it, of course, I'm old, but I try to do that and then I forget some stuff, but I hear you. Raquel, but we read over 1 million words of prose research and fewer than, wow. I guess so. I guess it does dump it. I hear you, Raquel, but still, that's incredible. Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of like the Rowingo look, though. I like Rowingo. Just sometimes they get a little bit too crazy with it. And I understood that the thing was never easy to draw, but you're going to have to be Kirby, or a senior, you're going to have to be Buscema. You can get simple with it, like here with the animated series of the 90s that I love so much. But when he started out, as you can see, it was pretty clunky. It's always good to have some memory capacity there, Tim. I've got none, but yeah. And then, of course, Perez, but the common factor through all that, a lot of that, of course, as you know, Mark, is Sinnott. Sinnott, this is just one of my favorite all-time, face shots of Ben right there. And like you, the teeth really disturb me. The thing doesn't need, we never need to see his teeth. Just saying. Not that I say to see his teeth, but that's let's see here. Yeah, yeah. He defined the look for sure. Joe Sinnott, who he's one of those greats. I've always talked about it, Mark. I've gotten to meet most of my favorite, most of my favorite comic book creators. And one of the ones I've always wanted to meet was Joe Sinnott. And as we all know, he passed earlier this year. Or was it last year? It was earlier this year, I believe. And that was that. He was in his 90s, lived a nice life. He is the ultimate, not just the Thing, he's the ultimate. Obviously, Kirby's my favorite Fantastic Four penciler and artist and everything. And I love a lot of Byrne's work on FF. But he is the backbone of the look of the Fantastic Four through Kirby, through John Buscema, through Rich Buckler, Keith Pollard, George Perez, Byrne when he first did it, and then later after Byrne left it, he went back on there and inked a lot of people. So, man, is there anyone more connected to the Fantastic Four outside of, Lee and Kirby as creators than Joe Sinnott? No, nobody. Yeah, so. But anyway, had a great time talking. I'm not going to go back and rehash everything. I was just mentioning that I had a great time. One might say a fantastic time talking about my all-time favorite comic book character, Monday night, The Thing, and it was special. So soon, Carlos and I we'll be doing more. Hopefully, Mark C and I will come up with some topics to do some more as well. But Carlos and I will be doing a show about another thing that we love as much as we love The Thing and things like that. We'll be doing a show about our beloved Legion of Superheroes soon. So there's that. And hey, Tim, when I was, I used to get that confused a little bit sometimes when I would just see a comic and have to look, because there's a similar look, by the way. But yeah, Carlos will join me again. He joined me for my Astro City show, which we had a great time doing. Astro City. Still can't believe it's the 25th anniversary of Astro City. One of the most brilliantly written comic books of all time. God, I love it. We had a lot of fun talking. When we did, what was the other one? When we talked about a couple weeks back the works of Alan Moore, and then of course The Thing the other night. And again, I'm looking forward to talking Legion of Superheroes with him. Let's see here. I got you, Tim. No, can't agree with you on there, Mark. Galactus and Doctor Doom are all Kirby. I like some of the stuff Byrne did with him, but he's no comparison. Sorry, bro. But we don't have to agree on everything. I still love you, so don't worry about it, man. And, what do I know? But that's me. Oh, that's too kind of you, Raquel. And I hope to talk to you again soon, Raquel, by the way. We got to come up with a topic. There's so many. But it's one of the things, by the way, that both of you, Mark or Raquel, I want to talk to you again so much, but there's so many topics. Landing on one to pick to do next is because I'm wishy-washy that way. What do I want to talk about next? What would be a good one? I keep doing that. In this month, for example, I will. Hopefully, I'm going to get I'm going to try to get my retro blasting buddy Michael French to come on and talk some Doctor Who with me, because this is, of course, Doctor Who month. So it's the anniversary, even though the show's been destroyed. And I was on the TARDIS on today with Noel. And I'm not going to repeat some of the rumors he was talking about there, because it's his show. He's the one doing the Doctor Who show. But I did go in there to respond to and talk about some of those rumors. And if some of those rumors he's talking about are true, I don't know, man. They're so bad. I would say John Romita Senior drew that, if I'm not mistaken, for the merchandising stuff. Mark, I always thought it was John Romita, because he did a lot of the merchandise, but I couldn't set that in stone for you, buddy. But I think it was John Romita. But yes, I think Michael. I'm hoping Michael will come on soon, and we're going to talk Doctor Who, because Michael's really gotten into Doctor Who of late. Thank Mark with AC. Great to see you, my friend. Thank you for popping in. But yeah, Mark C. If I were to take a stab, I remember that John Romita did so much of the 70s Marvel ad art and things like that, but was it him? Definitely. I mean, Frank Giacoia did a lot of it too, I believe, and a lot of the other background artists, or a lot of inkers and stuff like that. I mean, but John Romita Senior did a lot of that stuff. But yes, let's see. Oh, okay. Look, yeah, and anyone who is a Doctor Who fan out there, these rumors, because I couldn't do them justice. Besides, I leave it to Noel. He's the expert there with the rumors. Noel's channel, and I have a link to it in my description below. If you haven't gone to the TARDIS Zone, it's a great channel. Noel is a great dude. He's been a good buddy to me. Yes, you can go check it. He's got a new video up about those rumors there. So any Doctor Who fans out there, you might want to check that out. Even though the new show's dead to me anyway, but I mean, still, I was still dumb enough to watch it the past couple seasons, but I might be done. Oh yeah, when Michael dressed up as Tom Baker, Fourth Doctor. Yeah, okay, yeah, he sure did. But yes, Michael's really become a huge Doctor Who fan, and not only for the show, he loves Tom Baker, he loves Liz Sladen, of course. He has been amazing collecting the figures. He's got just an amazing collection of the figures and stuff. So it's great. And again, retroblasting. Any of you have not yet? Any of you have not yet? Please go to the rest of retroblasting channel and subscribe, and give their videos a look. They're great stuff. They are great. But yeah, I'm trying to think of. Okay, this is just like an open stream, just kind of take my mind off of things. We all know this, and these are stressful times. But I'm trying to think of basically some topics to do. And which ones, like, for example, I hope, Raquel will come on soon. And she's a busy woman, but come and talk some Trek soon. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I just realized Mark with a C has a John Byrne thing avatar, and our buddy, Mark C does, and Mark with a C has a Kirby, the classic Kirby pirate. Actually, it's not a Kirby. That's a Earl Norham, but it's based on a Kirby issue with a pirate. From FF number 5, I believe, was it? Or was it one of the annuals? I can't remember now. Yes, Raquel, we got to do a Trek show soon. Again, I know you're busy, so I'm no pressure, but whenever, and I, you know me, I'm wishy-washy. So if you come up with a topic of the ones we've discussed that you like, let me know. We'll just set up the time and place. And of course, again, it is no hurry. As when you are able to do it. I look forward to it. I cannot wait. I have so much fun hanging out with you. Tim is yes. I too am stressful. Tim, I'm stressed out right now. They are stressful. Yeah. Let's see. Well, it's happened in the MCU. You know what, Chris? Though, and there's a big topic there. The thing is, Chris, I've liked the MCU so far, but I think now that it's in bad hands. I don't want to see. You're right. This looks like it should happen in the MCU in ideal circumstances. However, they're going to ruin the Fantastic Four when they get them. Fantastic Four are forever doomed to have horrible movies made about them. And what they're going to do to them now, this is going way, way out on a limb. But hear me out. There could probably be no worse film ever made than Fan4Stick. Excuse me. Fan4Stick, made by Josh Skank. Josh Stank, whatever you like to call it, jerk. It's so horrible that if you can make a worse movie than that, you've really done something. Oh, by the way, oh my goodness, that's great. Raquel has got some stories published now. If you want to put some links up or send them to me or something like that, I'll put some links up for anybody to go check them out on Amazon. But that's great. But yes, look, your schedule. And that, by the way, congratulations so much. That is wonderful, by the way. But congratulations on that. And hey, when you can do it, we do it. It's cool because I do understand that. Absolutely. Yes, the crappy movies list together. Here's the way I would like to do that, Mark. I like some movies that are. I don't know if I can make a big enough list. I would like to get you to make your list as many as you want, and just instead of doing like a countdown style like we do sometimes, you could just, I will name and I will add. I will either comment on yours and then name a few that I hate, because I have a suspicion from what you've told me that you got a lot more of them than I do. If you're amicable to that arrangement, let's try that. If you think that works. If not, I could try to make a list. I don't know how many I could make, but I'd just like to have you talk about them and we both comment on them. And you can just make as many as you want that way. Oh, no, my microphone sometimes, Tim, that's the clear your throat button. You have to shut the mic off so you don't make a terrible noise. Mark, with a C, as much as it pains me to admit the Corman movie can be better than anything, it is Seth. I got to throw in with you, brother. It's way better than that horrible Josh Stank stuff. Yes, and back in 2013, Mark C, when they were making that piece of filth movie here in Baton Rouge at the Celtic Studios, you think it's bad enough that they were I had to pass that thing going to work every morning, knowing they were making that atrocious piece of filth movie. And then, as you know, you may or may not know, I started up. I had a delivering job for a printing plant at that point, and it just so happens our plant made a lot of stuff for video, printed materials for this studio. And sure enough, I had to make a delivery over there. I had to go bring a bunch of stuff over there we'd made for them. And I was not happy about that. It was while they were filming that garbage, and all through my mind. And by the way, I was wearing a Fantastic Four T-shirt that day, a Kirby one. And I'm walking out after I delivered these things. And yes, I'm laughing at myself here. It was a really hot day. I'm walking out. The only thing on my mind after making the delivery, aside from the cute delivery girl, of course, was they're making that garbage right in that old studio right over there, the some bitches. And I walk out, and I trip. I'm so pissed off. I'm not thinking straight. I'm going on these concrete steps, and I trip on the metal dolly. I slip, and I bust my knees all up. And as pissed as I was, because you're not going to think I'm a weirdo for this, I started laughing my ass off. Yes, I was injured. It busted my knees up for fairly bad for a little while. Nothing serious. I was so mad. I was laughing. I said, "That's what you get, dumbass." And so I actually laughed at myself for that. But yes, well, good, Mark. Talking crappy movies very soon, but Mark C. and myself. Katie Carr, the lovely Katie Carr. Oh, can't stay long. Well, I'm just thankful and very pleased that you dropped by, Katie. I'm very honored to have you pop in, my dear, and you are amazing, and I just thank you so much. Thank you for popping in. It's wonderful to see you. Sending some stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, good. Thank you, Raquel. I will take a look at those when I'm done. Absolutely. The Roger Corman film is cool, but yeah, it's, the thing is, it's always funny how you can think something's really horrible, and then things that are, I'm just being general in a sense, but things that are even worse come out, and it makes the stuff you thought was bad before, sometimes, if not look as bad, you might even start to favor it. There are people who now speak fondly of the Roger Corman Fantastic Four film of 1983 or whatever that year was, that was not even supposed to be made, that was supposed to be destroyed. It only exists because someone stole it from that studio and copied it. It was meant as a write-off for Marvel. You all know the story, and if you don't, go find the documentary called Doomed on Hulu if it's still on there. It's a pretty fascinating story about the Roger Corman Fantastic Four film. And yet now people talk fondly about it. They had the two dumb Sony movies, and Fan Four Stick are so bad, especially Fan Four Stick, people actually think fondly on the Roger Corman film. It's bizarre to me because it's not a good movie. The Roger Corman, but it was made for $3. It was made for $3. So, what are you going to do? Patrick Wilson, he was also Night Owl. He was he was Ocean Master, and he's an Insidious. Yeah, look, I'd be all for him playing Reed Richards. Another good casting for Sue. There you go. They won't do that, though. I don't know about Zac Efron. He might be a little bit old for Johnny Storm now, man. Younger, though, yeah. And that's true. Robert Culp's son did play Dr. Doom in that film. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, man. Yep. And if some geek hadn't got a hold of it and made a copy, and I remember back at the time in '93, whatever it was, when that Roger Corman FF film came out, there's no internet really at all, and yet that thing was distributed everywhere. It's crazy. Because I got a bootleg copy of it, and then I was going around the cons, and every con I went to had a copy of it. Mando Merc, what's up, bro? Good to see you there, my friend. Thanks for popping by, bud. But the the Roger Corman FF film, it's not a good movie. But now people will look back fondly. Oh, I really like that movie. Yeah, anything's better than Fan Four Stick, including sticking your hand in a meat grinder. But and so I get it. When people, for a while, I would always, when people would say, was it when they say, that Roger Corman film made that for film? That was so good. It's not good, man. It's terrible. But it was made, and not just because it was made for $20. It's got a lot of stupid crap in it. But granted, compared to Fan Four Stick, you would think Orson Welles directed it. I'll give you that. Yeah, I have no idea why. Yeah, he needs a Brooklyn accent. Yes. See, the thing is, like in the Sony films, with Michael Chiklis is a great actor, but he doesn't look like Ben Grimm is supposed to look in the human form. He looks like kind of a, a mental, just a regular kind of dad-looking, middle-aged gentleman. And again, I love him; he's a great actor. But Ben was supposed to be like the big, muscle-bound, like big man on campus type stuff. And then he turns into a rock monster. Well, look here. Look, I mean, if you see here, that's what Ben Grimm should look like before he becomes the Thing in that lower part right there. So you can see. Mads, well, that's interesting, Raquel. Is he good at that sort? Is he good at voices like that? Because yes, you'd need to CGI the Thing anyway. You would need to CGI the Thing anyway. But Mads Mikkelsen, by the way, he's a great actor. He's already been in the MCU once, but hey, I did not know he could do the accents, but yeah, well, there you go. You got to be sort of like, I know Chuck McCann was over the top, but yeah, he kind of, when I think of Ben Grimm, I think of him now, and he's got to talk, like Ben. No, oh my goodness, there, Mads Mikkelsen for Dr. Victor Von Doom. Now you're talking. But I did not know. I did not know Mads was one who does voices like that. Well, yeah. But him for Von Doom, oh my God! He, of course, didn't he have played two Marvel villains though? He's a great actor. Chris Maloney, don't know him. I can't say I know him. We're not that close to Christmas. What hell? A little Christmas, Ben Grimm, the Thing. My favorite character. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I know Chris Maloney there, Mark. See? But yeah. Oh, Mads is fantastic, though, Raquel. He is really good. I like that guy. But so, yeah, they're not going to cast the Fantastic Four film correctly. We all know, without going too far down that rabbit hole, it's going to be wokey McWokeness with an extra scoop of wokitude. In other words, all the characters will not look like they already did it in Fan Four Stick. They're going to do that even more. Even more. In this new garbage. Chris Maloney is yucky. I guess I'd have to see him. I don't know who he is, Raquel. I've not seen him, but yeah, Ben Grimm is supposed to be this big, big, athlete. He was a war hero, a test pilot, a football star, all that stuff. Big dude, big, yeah. So, but that's part of the tragedy of his story. This guy had it all, and then he turns into an ugly rock monster. We talked a lot about that the other night when we told about his beginnings and stuff. So, yeah. And then he becomes one of the greatest heroes in the Marvel Universe, one of those respected ones. Let's see. Chris Maloney was on Law and Order SVU. I don't know. Military Man of Steel. He also did the voice of Alfred. Okay. Military General. I'm forgetting him for some reason. But yeah, okay, no, but I hear you though. Yeah, you got to get somebody like that. You know, I'd almost even say a guy like, well, The Rock's a dumbass now, but I mean, not necessarily The Rock, but a big dude who looks like, you know, kind of an athlete. But because you only need him for the Ben Grimm bit, and then he gets turned into the monster, and ideally they would be CGIing him in The Rock form. And I'm sorry, my phone went off. I forgot to turn my damn phone off. Down, I mean. Yeah, there you go. But you'd only need him for that. So, yeah. But they better get it. They just better get him right, you know. But what can you do? Look, it's CMC. It's academic. They're not gonna to get this thing right. They've already you know admitted that really. Yeah. Well, The Rock's busy with DC stuff though. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, but he just needs to be a big old dude. But you know what can you do? Okay, I must admit I've never seen any of the Law and Order stuff. I know what it is, of course, but I've never watched it. I mean, look, it doesn't have superheroes and spaceships in it. You know me. You know I'm a 12-year-old. What can I tell you? But yeah, so I want the. That's what scares me. As bad as he was in Fan Stick, I suppose the challenge will be: can they get him even worse? We will see. So, but anyway, that's enough of that silliness there. But there's not much else out there going on. There is a Green Lantern. What is it? HBO? No, again, it just gets too. Yeah, I was about to go there and it gets too political. At least when we're talking about movies, you don't have to go that far. But what's the Green Lantern thing that they're doing? HBO Max or whatever. They're gonna. Green Lantern's gonna be not gonna be. Never mind. I better not even do it. You probably all seen the story. I don't know if I'm going, man, everything gets. Yes, again, and see, that speaks to Raquel when it comes to Ben. Again, I like Michael Chiklis. He was not, you know, really right for it in those two Sony films, which weren't very good. And then in Van Forstic, he was a little kid. I mean, he was 18 years old or something. He was a little kid. He didn't even, why he was Ben Grimm. Oh, but again, yeah. So, no, they're probably going to make him, you are all thinking of them trying to make him close to Ben Grimm. But, yeah. By the way, I don't know if Maloney's a white dude or not, but you can go, you know, pretty much figure right now. See, the thing, of course, is a white dude. He's a an Orthodox Jewish kid from Hell's Kitchen, and they're not going to do that. It's all going to be intersectional. He'll probably be Kevin Hart. They'll probably cast him. No, I don't know. But I do know this. No, I can't even say I know this. I don't even know that. I don't know anything anymore about what they're going to do to these characters. Yeah, he's short, but you can mess with the camera that way. Oh, okay. You sent me a picture on Twitter. Oh, on Facebook. Let's see. Let me find it, man. Of Maloney. Let's see here. Let me see what this dude looks like. Oh, that guy? As Ben? I would want Ben to be a lot younger than that. But I mean, I don't know if he has the physique for it or not. But I don't know, man. Like I say, he might be good at the voicing. I don't know, because there's the key. You're only going to need Ben for a couple scenes. I mean, human Ben, you know. Tom Hardy could probably do it. He's so yeah. I don't know, but again, Mark, you might be right. The guy might be able to look at. I just think they should kind of start him out a little bit younger, but I don't know. I know nothing of the guy, so I can't comment. Now, if he might be good at doing the voice or whatever. Oh yeah, the Thing himself is not that tall now. But in fact, I've always thought maybe Ben Grimm was taller when he was human than he was when he was the Thing. I don't know Randy Kocher. Who is that? Sounds familiar. Yeah. Well, he's 5'8", but it didn't stop him from playing Bane, if you call that playing Bane. And he plays Venom, I guess. Eddie Brock was supposed to be a big monster, too, like even bigger than Ben Grimm. Eddie Brock was supposed to be a big dude. But they let Topher Grace play him, and then they let, wasn't in the Venom movie, which is one I did not see, isn't Tom Hardy playing, it is the Eddie Brock Venom, right? And he's a, scrawny little dude. So, if they do Ben Grimm, they're not going to worry about making him big. So, yeah, it could be that dude you're talking about, Mark. Or it could be anyone, because they're not going to cast him the way they should. They didn't do it with Michael Chiklis. I can't remember what the dude looked like in the Corman film. I was thinking John Cena. Well, I'll put it to you like this. Cena, the Ben Grimm from the comic book would look closer to a Cena than a Michael Chiklis. Let's put it like that. But again, you only need Ben for the origin part at the beginning, if they do the origin. And here's another thing. The only way for a Fantastic Four movie to be really done well, it needs to be a period piece. Okay. I may have seen him. This name sounds very familiar, Raquel. See, an FF film done properly would have to be a period piece, in my opinion. That way, you don't have to come up with some new way for them to get their powers. Not a very good actor, eh? That's also true there. John Cena is in a DC film now. That's right. He's Peacemaker. And I got to say, by the way, I hated the first Suicide Squad, but James Gunn he's a jack-off, but, he can make fun movies, and I'm almost interested in that Suicide Squad film he's doing, and he's got the Peacemaker costume looking perfect. And I love that helmet. So, yeah, Cena is in the DC universe now. It is right. So, yeah. Oh, right. Okay. In the first Expendables, the Randy Kocher. Okay. I've seen the first couple of Expendables. If you're talking about like the first two films or something, I've seen those. Yeah. Okay. I got you. I see. Okay. Well, there you go. Well, look, they never really cast. Let's just be honest. It's rare that they go for to make a character look like the comic book. Look at Hugh Jackman. And he's cool. I like Hugh Jackman. I like his movie Wolverine, but his movie Wolverine is hardly comic book accurate. And who would they find to play the comic book accurate movie? To be fair, as they say. Sorry, Michael. But to be fair, who would they find to play a comic book accurate Wolverine? They're going to have to find a guy's like 5 feet tall and a stubby little, you're just not going to really, I don't know how you would make that work. And Jackman was good, though. I think people just excused it and let it go. That he wasn't like the comic book Wolverine. Visually. And they're not going to go for a Ben Grimm that looks like the one from the comic book. Oh, Mark C, dude, if they did that, if they let Brad Bird, because Incredibles is really a great Fantastic Four film. that's not called Fantastic Four. We did get one very close to a Fantastic Four film in Incredibles 1. Personally, I was very disappointed in Incredibles 2. But I love Incredibles, the first film. So, if they let Brad Bird do a CG animated FF cartoon, that'd be it. I'd say, look, get that right. I get to go watch it. Let me watch it at least 10 times, and then you can I'm done. I won't need anything else for the rest of my life. In a geek sense, anyway. Because they've taken everything away. They've taken it all away. They've taken Star Trek away. They've taken Doctor Who away from me. They've taken Star Wars. They've taken Marvel and DC Comics. Now that they're taking the MCU away. They've taken all the animated shows that I love. They're taking those away. They've taken the DC animated universe away. So, give me something. Not asking for much. I'm not asking for much, but if Brad Bird, that's a great scenario there. Look, Mark C., that's it, man. That's what I want for Christmas. We both know, I guess it's not possible, but buddy, yes, indeed. Yeah, I don't even like the X-Men films that much, Chris, but I did like Jack. I kind of like him. He's tough not to like, I think. I mean, it's not my bag, those X-Men films. If we start the microverse with the movie set they should be set in the 60s. Because you know how much I love the FF. That origin is dated. And I don't mean in a bad way, but it kind of, because remember, as you all know, Reed Richards, is working on a test craft. He wants to beat the Russians into space. This is 1961 that this comic book came out. And he wants to beat the Russians and, be the first people in space. And then they come up with this idea of cosmic rays turns them into the Fantastic Four. They crash land, and that's it. They become Imaginons, superheroes. And that's all. I mean, it's very simplistic. It's very early 60s. It's, and even this, ironically, the book is closer to a science fiction. It's as close to Star Trek as Marvel gets in terms of superheroes that, involved, even though it's, yes, superhero fantasy, but, Reed Richards is a scientist. It's very cosmic. But you got to have that kind of innocence of the early 60s, 1961, basically, for the Fantastic Four's origin to work. It needs to be a period piece, because the Sony movie, as much as I don't like them, I understood that they had to make some other excuse for them to be up in space, for them to get their powers. It was just so freaking stupid that they did it with that they had Victor Von Doom with them. That was really dumb. Dumb crap. All the movies were dumb. Yeah, they've taken it away, dude. They've taken it all away. It's gone. There's so much of it. And just give me... Look, I say it all the time. They can do all the movies, all the shitty SJW crap-filled movies of these superheroes that they want, because they can do it anyway. I don't like them doing that, don't get me wrong. But how about if they just did some animated films on some of the classic adaptations of certain DC or Marvel comics, if they did some animated series of some of these characters, again, like we used to get just as recently as, the early 2000s, when we got great shows like the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, Bruce Timmverse stuff, the wonderful Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. If I were getting stuff like that, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. But they're not going to be doing that. I mean, it would be nice. I'd be happy just to get a few things here and there, because and I know it sounds bad. Yeah, at least we're getting a GL with Guy Gardner and Jessica Cruz. First of all, I'm not big on Guy Gardner, but he's okay. But Jessica Cruz, I can't stand. But I'm not sure it's going to have Guy Gardner in that, man. If they do, they're going to change him. But could be wrong, Mark with the C. But I don't. I think it'll be just Jessica Cruz probably, if I were to guess, knowing the way things are now. I don't blame you at all, Raquel. Don't give him a dime. But it's just like they have to taint everything. So much so, they come out with something like The Mandalorian, which, don't worry, everyone, I don't pay to watch, but I do watch. You know what? Look, I sail the high seas, of course, sure, arg. But you know what? I've been spending so much money on Star Wars all my life, they can suck it. I'm going to watch their stupid shit. If they don't like it, they can, call the FBI. But it's okay, The Mandalorian. I like it. I'm kind of sort of where Doomcock is on it. The great Doomcock, hail, praise be his name. I think it's good. I like the first season. Okay, it's a sad low bar. And I'm saying not saying the show's low. What I'm saying is, your bar is low when almost your default while you're in the middle of watching something, when you're in the midst of watching something, and you're having a decent time. You're enjoying it fairly, right? You think it's okay. It's not. And the first thing that kind of strikes you, one of the first things that strikes you is, well, at least it isn't woke. Mandalorian only got 40,000 views the first day. Really? That's horrible. Wow, if that's true, man, Jesus Christ. But now again, it's not the only thing. It was fairly enjoyable. It was kind of very simplistic, the first episode of the new season. But it's something to watch. Yeah, I heard that also, Raquel, that why would they dropped it at 3 a.m. Pacific? I do not understand that. I don't know. Isn't that the way Netflix was doing it for a while? When they would drop their whole series or something? I don't know. Maybe not. Someone was doing that. That's a crazy time, though. I don't get that. I mean, I guess they figure people go watch. Just put it at a decent hour for shit's sake. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe they'll change that. I don't know. But I heard that also, Raquel. But when it has to be, it's just a damn shame when it has to be in the back of your mind that, well, for one thing, I got to say it wasn't either. Sometimes it wasn't all that woke, or no, I really didn't see any wokeness in there, which is good. It just makes me sad that that's even a factor. But it is. I mean, I'm not doing it on purpose, I don't think. Yes. Well, absolutely. Dropping it at just. What about just dropping it at prime time? I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 in the afternoon. I mean, the evening or whatever, rather. Okay, Netflix. Yeah, usually. Okay, midnight. Because I remember the last time I was actually watching. Back. Number one. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But yes, and I never really thought of that until Gary and Doomcock started talking about that, Raquel, how the binge model hurts these things, but it does make sense what they're saying. A few years back, when the Marvel Netflix shows started coming on, Daredevil, which I really is the only I watched all of them for some damn reason. The only one I really, really liked was Daredevil. And I didn't think about, of course, I wasn't reviewing the show as they do once a week. So I was reviewing it on my show, but I wasn't reviewing it week to week. I would watch all of them and review it on my show later. But I didn't think about that. But they make a very interesting point about the binge model. But at the time, I thought, wow, this is cool. I could just sit here and watch them all. So from a viewing standpoint, it's fun to binge things. No question about it. From a commercial standpoint, not just for reviewers like Doomcock or Gary or others, but it would make sense for them to come out one at a time. The great Canadian Spider-Man does whatever a Canadian spider can. Great to see you there, my friend. Thank you, sir. Thank you for popping in. I always appreciate seeing you in here. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I didn't know any better. I liked it. I watched. It took me the better part of a weekend, and I watched all 13 episodes of Daredevil for a season. And every time a season would drop, I watched it. Over the course of a weekend, it was kind of a fun thing to look forward to sit there, and sometimes with my son, even sit there and just watch those things. And I love the Netflix Daredevil show, by the way. Unfortunately, I was dumb enough to sit through some of the other ones. Always a pleasure, sir. Great to see you there, Canadian Spider-Man. I hope you are doing well, sir. So the binge model is not good for them, apparently. So, and I understand where they're coming from on that. But on Mandalorian, fairly entertaining, but they're going to have to do a lot better. I'm not reviewing it or anything. But I kind of thought it was pretty good. It's okay, and again, there's nothing wrong with it that bad, really. But I'm not all that hyped up about it. But the fact that I'm going to watch it, I guess that says something. Because I don't know about any of you. I don't really watch any new stuff anymore. I don't really. There's nothing that I'm really, really fast. Just can't wait to see what's coming out. Yeah. I guess it's sort of like, it's like that, Mark, with the C, or it's like getting the trade paperback, I guess, right? But it was always kind of fun to read comics, once a monthly series. But look, okay, I guess that binge model is, in a sense, in a strange sort of way, based on the old trade paperback theory, right? I'll wait for the trades. The hardcover. I mean, especially when I was really, until Marvel and DC chased me away from wanting to read any of their crap. I kind of liked buying monthly comics, but I always had friends of mine that would say stuff like, "Oh, wait, you'll tell them about a new series." It used to it kind of aggravated me in a sense. I would tell them about a new comic, and they, "Oh yeah, great, I'll wait for the trade." Screw you. Even though I like trades, don't get me wrong. Duke's point, I think, was that put your show out every week. It will be the talk around the. Yeah, but no, that makes a lot of sense. I'd never thought about it, but that's why he makes the big bucks there. Doomcock is the man, and Gary and those guys. That's a really great point. Yeah, no, it's a very good point, Mikhail. Absolutely, I'm totally down with it. That's also an excellent point about writing, and especially writing comic books, Mark. They don't know how to write a hook for the next issue anymore. But they also, one of the things that chased me out of comic books, reading comics, obviously a lot of it was the revisionism and crap like that, but that's another factor. It was a lot of these things where, as I'm sure you're familiar with the term, writing for the trade, instead of, them plotting out multiple stories over the course of 10, 12, whatever issues. If a writer, for example, I always envision it sort of taking place like this, where a writer will come in and meeting with his editors at Marvel or DC, and they'll say, "So what do you got for us now?" And he'll give them a basic layout for their story, or maybe turn in an outline, and they'll go, "This is pretty good, but this really only can be maybe one issue. Can you stretch this out He said, well, maybe 2 issues. No, can you stretch it out to 4? Really? And they said, yeah, because if you stretch it out to 4, we could call it a saga, and then we could come back in a few months and we could do the trade paperback of it. And I'm not exactly sure when this really started hot and heavy, but it's writing for the trade. And so many comics could have had stories that were shorter and more stories, but they write for the friggin' trade. You know? And that was really starting to aggravate me. And not, again, I like trades. Trades were popular because the word of mouth for the monthlies, the binge model of reducing potential earnings because it's 13 weeks later. No, Chris Persia, that's absolutely right. But no, there was a time when they didn't even think about writing for the trade. And then trade started to do well, and they started writing for the Express. In other words, originally, I remember back in the 80s, the first maybe 3 or so Marvel trades, not Marvel graphic novels, which are new stories, trades. The Wolverine miniseries, I was working running a shop at the time in the early 80s when the first Chris Claremont, Frank Miller Wolverine miniseries came out. 4 issues. I guarantee you no one was thinking about a trade paperback of that. The very few trades that had existed before that were reprint books, yes. And, Sons of Origins of Marvel Comics and Origins of Marvel Comics, and there have been a couple other ones, the Fireside trades that they did in the 70s. I have those. But they just did that, and of course, it burned up. I mean, it just took off like wildfire. Wolverine just went through the roof with popularity. And yes, pretty soon they came out with a trade. Still at that point, there hadn't been that many. And then the graphic novel line was doing okay. At that time, comics actually had sales. Yes, print runs and sales because comic shops were getting bigger. It was a renaissance for comics. Marvel was kind of being left in the dust because they were doing a lot of crap. But that was a good book for them. Not too long after that, everyone remembers the classic Demon in a Bottle storyline in Iron Man. David Michelinie, Bob Layton, John Romita Jr. also classic, got compiled into a trade paperback. I remember I have that one as well. And then not too long after that, they even, and this is one of the very early trade paperbacks. This right here, we were talking about the thing, Project Pegasus Saga, which had been out a few years. Look at the price. You know how expensive trade paperbacks are now? Look at the top left corner. It was $6.95. I still have this. It was $6.95, but there weren't very many trade paperbacks. But when the Project Pegasus Saga came out as a comic book, they weren't thinking about a trade paperback. They just weren't. And so I was saying I know exactly when the point that was when they started writing for the trades, but I think they lost something when they started doing that. I think they lost something. That is so spot on there, Raquel. Well, the point that Canadian makes me go back to that. So, shareholders would rather have money all at once, even if it's less than could be made over a long term, perhaps. Also, Western society wants everything now. Canadian Spider-Man, that is another factor to be sure. Goldfish attention spans, no delayed gratification here in the land of right now. Yes, indeed, Raquel Briggs. It is absolutely right. And if you want to find me a link, I can put that in the chat there, Raquel, to your stories, because you are on Amazon now, if I'm not mistaken. I believe you said, right? I did a portfolio. C.C. Sobolski reviewed. You like what I did, but it left on a cliffhanger. He says, I wish you would have drawn what comes next because I want to see more. He meant it as a criticism. Yes, he wants it all there now. Like you said, I like the hooks. But when I started buying comics, as a kid, early 70s and things like that, going and riding on a bike to the 7-Eleven, distribution was very different. There were almost no comic shops, or very few. No one knew what a comic shop was really anywhere. to any great extent anyway, what few there were. And there certainly was no direct market. So, they had to write these comics thinking that not every reader is going to be able to read the next issue. Not that they didn't have continuing stories. It did sometimes. But usually they would have very closed one-off stories and then two-parters, three-parters here and there when the distribution got better. But still, they had to be, somewhat aware, somewhat cognizant of the fact that, maybe a kid buying this issue may not be able to find the next issue at his drugstore. Amazon, under the author name, R.M. Briggs, in science fiction. Moira Kitty. Hello, my dear. It is lovely to see you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much for popping in. But yeah, screw C.C. Cebulski. We both know what a jagoff he is, Mark. The lovely and wonderful Moira Kitty. It is so great to see you, my dear. Thank you for popping in. We appreciate that. So yeah, writing for the trades, I think they lost something. It's similar to TV writing now. One of the ways the kind of modern TV kind of lost me personally, and you may not all agree with this. I enjoy episodic television. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with story arcs or things like that. But I love, Star Trek, the original series, or even the other iterations of Star Trek. Hell, even Deep Space Nine. Yes, they had story arcs, but they still had standalone episodes. You could still pop in an episode of Deep Space Nine, even with the arc that they had running through it, and enjoy it as an individual episode. Yes, the guy who owns Comtronics was a friend of mine, and he bought comics for me at Southland Comics. Yes, I believe his name was. Well, there was a couple of them. That's Fred Dean, and it was then there was Steve Bernath. There's so many different names, but yes, I do remember Comtronics. Yes, sir. Steve Bernath and a lot of these other guys. So Fred, all these dudes. Thank you so much, Raquel. It is very rare when I say anything well, so I appreciate that. But yes, again, I know people like the story arc stuff. It doesn't really appeal to me that much, especially with Star Trek, but not just with Star Trek. I mean, for example, I don't know how many Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans we have here. I used to really like him. Well, I've seen it in a long time, but they had a running arc through each season, but they had standalone episodes. It was a nice marriage of the two. Certain episodes could pertain to the overarching story of the season and still be an individual story at the same time often. It was very well written. It was a great show, I thought. Babylon 5 did it as well. And I just prefer that kind of storytelling. It almost seems to me, and look, I don't know. I'm not privy to what goes on in any of these rooms and these editorial discussions, but it almost seems to me like, let's say you have a series, you're all getting together to plot out your season, and you got 22 episodes, let's say. It just seems like lazy. They don't think, all right, well, we need 22 stories like they used to do in the old days. Again, I'm not trying to say everything should be like the old days. You shouldn't grow. No, I'm saying, but still, when they would set up to make a Star Trek season of the original series, or whatever show, the Virginian, Gunsmoke, or whatever it was, they would, if it was a 22 episode season or 26 or whatever it was, hell, Virginia was an hour and a half show and there were 30 episodes a season. But they had a lot of other units filming, and they had a lot of characters that they would film whole character stories. It was crazy, but they put a lot of work into those shows. But they would have, if it's a 22 episode season, it was 22 stories. Now they can say, look, we got 22 episodes, but screw that. Let's just come up with one long story, and we only have to write one story, and we'll just filler the hell out of that sucker and make it one big, long soap opera season. A classic example of this was a show that I friggin' hated. Hated. Now, some people like it. Unpopular opinion. The show Heroes is a piece of shite, trash. That show was the ultimate CTs, and I'll tell you what, it looked so damn cool when you see when we were seeing all the commercials for it and all that crap. If you'll remember that show from, I don't know how long ago it was now. Oh, good stuff there, Mark. Yeah. So, friggin' Heroes. The first few episodes when they're trying to grab you, that's one thing. And so you'd watch an episode. I'm so stupid. I watched the whole first season. Yes, I was a dumbass. Because I'm sitting there and they would start out and you go, okay, this is interesting. And the characters were pretty thin. They didn't really do a great job of writing their characters, which should have been my first tell. But, they would manage to do some interesting things. And as a comic book geek and things like that, I would go, all right, I want to see, take like, the politician dude who could fly at Mach 10. You could fly it, break the sound barrier. And they would show you little snippets in the commercials. Like, cool, we're going to get to see this guy fly. I'm in. I'm a 12-year-old. I want to see that. So, episodes goes by, again, everything's set up. I get set up. I'm patient. Couple episodes set things up fine. Every single goddamn episode was a setup. And they would and they were pretty, I'm going to give them a little bit of credit here. They get to the end of an episode and they would put something in there like, oh, okay, now it heats up. Couple episodes in, but now there's payoff. What they're teasing me with now, the next one, episode 3, 4, whatever it is, that's going to be the kicker. They're going to start really jacking this sucker into overdrive and show me all kind of nice, interesting ideas. So like all these superpowered beings. Next episode, same old shit. Very last scene. Oh, okay, all right. Now, all right. You're building up to something. Well, after 30 episodes of doing the same exact crap, building up to something every damn time, I'm like, you know what? Screw you. I think like a jackass, I watched part of the second season when it came on, and I'm like, I'm out of here. This show sucks. It's horribly written, and it's just jerking you off. It's not getting you anywhere. Screw you. Let's see what some of the chat's saying. Yes, yeah. I liked Buffy. I thought it was really well done for me. I really love that show. Heroes was such garbage. God, people love it. I don't know why. Let's see here. I don't know. I know why we watched it. It was seductive. It was making you think, okay, this looks, because they were good at kind of setting things up and making you go, all right, we're going to see some stuff go down here. And then it didn't. Nothing happened on that show, at least in the first season. Smart Steve, thanks for popping in, my friend. Nothing happened on that friggin' show. Canadian Spider-Man, I wanted to like ST Discovery. Did you? You wanted to? I didn't. Sorry. But anyway, so what? I watched the whole first 3 episodes. Wish I didn't. I wish I hadn't. Sorry. I didn't get too far either. Thank God we have Doomcock and Gary and others to review it. Because I tried almost the whole first season. It's such a piece of filth. But I didn't. But to be fair, I didn't want to like it, but I was willing to be open-minded. They shut my rather small mind very quickly. Yeah, that show. Thank you so much, Raquel. I'm glad I'm not the only one because I used to get people. I used to aggravate people when I was reviewing that show on my binge show. I was reviewing Heroes every week and just yelling and screaming about it like a nut. And everyone would say, well, you don't think it's any God, that's such a cool show. I said, name one thing that happened that was interesting in this damn show. They would set up interesting plots, but these people can't write. Yeah. So glad it's just not just me. Hey, I got you, Canadian. I know. Believe me. Yeah, your first season. Yeah. No, first season. That's when I tried as well, man. I hear you. Look, and you gave it a shot, dude. Look, I don't judge anybody. I'm so smart. I sat through all of Picard. Yes, I am a moron. Every time I go, my son, who's a smart ass, will say, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" I say, "Shut up." I don't know. Also, a good point. On Heroes, they never became. Yeah, the name Heroes befuddles me. I mean, they had superpowers, sure. They weren't heroic, and they didn't do shite. Well, I don't blame you, Canadian Spider-Man. There's plenty of better things to do than that. Always great to see you, Smart Steve. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, P Hard is such a piece of filth. Yeah, won't be doing that again. Fortunately, there won't be a P Hard season 2. No way. Yes, that's another reason why I don't care if he calls himself a supervillain. Picard is Doomcock is also a superhero because he takes those bullets that we don't have to. I mean, I watched Picard so I could review it, but it still wasn't good enough reason. Tim Hayes STD is Star Trek Discovery, which I think is a piece of filth. So yeah, and look, they handed us when you. Granted, I guess STD. What else are you going to call it? They don't call it. The people who defended it and like it won't call it that. They call it disco. I'm not sure that's much better, but STD is a lot more fun. Calling it that, I mean. In fact, the show's so bad it's not even as. At least you can have fun getting an STD, if you know what I mean. But there's no fun involved with that show. Oh my God. Man, what are you gonna do? But yeah, again, yes, thank you, Doomcock, for and Gary for watching that show for us. Oh man. Yeah, but look, again, they just don't make anything I'm really all that interested in. Like I said, I'm all that interested in anymore. I think I'll keep watching Mandalorian. But I don't know, do any of you have any shows that you either watch right now or that you're looking forward to, perhaps? Right now, when I watch something, I watch old Star Trek, real Star Trek, 1966, 2005. But, and of course, Blake 7 and Doctor Who. Oh, yeah, another thing. Today, I don't know if this was, this, how there are rumors. For those of us who are Doctor Who fans that hate the new Doctor Who, that Chris Chibble's doing, Chibnall that is doing. For those who do, not everyone. I mean, I don't know if you do it, whether you do or not, but I do. I hate it. Well, I love a British show called Blake 7, and it was talked about today while I was over on Noel's stream on the TARDIS Zone. Link in the description below if you're a Doctor Who fan. Chibi, there's a rumor that Chibi's going to be doing a remake of Blake 7. If that happens, I'm just going to go ahead and confess it right now, folks. If Chris Chibi, of all people, well, first of all, any remake of Blake 7, no. If Chris Chibi does it, I'm going to take a hostage. That's it. I will be a geek terrorist. But actually, let's show it. Stranger Things. I actually did watch the first season of that. Didn't like it much, so I never went back. But people do like Stranger Things. That's a popular show, so Mark. Yeah, a lot of people like that one. And I kid because I've been through so many things that I've had destroyed. We talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, all my favorite comic books, characters, and all those things, and Star Trek and Star Wars and Doctor Who have been destroyed. What's one more? Because it's not going to be real Blake 7 to me anyway. Anyone remaking it, even if it wasn't chibi, that's the worst case scenario if you care about a remake. Thing is, just like Star Trek, the original series, okay? Only Shatner's Kirk. End of story. Chris Pine ain't Kirk. Nobody is. Jar Jar Abrams garbage. The bad reboot filth, Secret Outhouse filth. It's not Star Trek to me. I mean, in my own personal headcanon, which is the only thing I have the control over, you know, anyone can call anything Star Trek, anything that they like. But it's not Star Trek to me. So I kind of learned how to cancel it out. I've kind of learned to go, you know what? Hey. Yeah, I really have. I've had to come to a point where I've reached a place where, yes, it still aggravates me that they're doing it on some level, but I'm not going to stop them. I'm not going to I got enough blood pressure problems as it is. I'm not going to get all worked up as much as I used to about it, but it's not like I'm not going to fight the good fight over it. But if they do a remake of Blake 7, even if it's not chibi, it's bullshit. It's dead on DOA, dead on arrival to me. Dead. Chin Balls can go screw himself. He sucks. He's a piece of. He is the Alex Klutzman of the BBC. I'm not sure which one of those jagoffs is worse. I did like the first season of Cobra Kai. I'm saving the second season. That's right. I forgot. Thank you, Mark. Let's see. I forgot about that one. Thank you, Raquel. Oh, by the way, let's see here. Watch Robotech and New Adventures of Flash Gordon reruns on Pluto. Yeah, I like Pluto. They got some cool stuff, Tim. Robotech is, of course, lovely, and I love the New Adventures of Flash Gordon cartoon. And we did a whole show about Flash Gordon a few weeks ago. My good buddy Mark C and I, Tim. I don't know if you saw that one. We had a lot of fun talking about the history of the great character Flash Gordon, 80 years of Flash Gordon, and we talked about that. And that Filmation Flash Gordon cartoon, which was terrific. Have you ever seen the pilot movie that they kind of used a lot of for that animated series that they run on Pluto? Because they don't run the movie on there that I know of. I don't think they do. And it's called, you can find it on YouTube, called Flash Gordon, The Greatest Adventure of All. It's a great animated movie by Filmation. It's the best animation they've ever done, in my opinion. It was made, I think it was first aired in like 79 or something like that. It was written by Samuel A. Peoples, who wrote the Where No Man Has Gone Before, the second Star Trek pilot. Very good writer. It's so well written, so well voiced, and it captures the Alex Raymond Flash Gordon comic strips beautifully. It's really good. I highly recommend it if you love animation and you love stuff like that. It's so good. Yeah, let's see. Mark C. Let's see here. I found this. To me, this looks like a Tom Grummett or somebody like that, but I couldn't swear to it, brother. I mean, obviously, it's over back. I think it could be someone else, though. Don't quote me on that, because I couldn't find the artist. I just thought it looked pretty good. There you go, buddy. It just doesn't exist in the headcanon there, man. That's the way you got to be sometimes. Oh yeah, Defenders of the Earth. Yep. I think Mark C and I covered pretty much the whole history of Flash Gordon on that. Oh, okay. Flash. I've watched that billions of times. Flash Gordon, the greatest adventure of all. I feel like watching it right now, just when I'm thinking about it. There you go. Yes, it aired on NBC in primetime twice, actually. I remember I recorded it on my VHS and wore that sucker out, man. I love that thing. Power outage. I'm sorry about that, Canadian Spider-Man, but I appreciate you popping in, my brother. It is always a pleasure to see you, sir. Thank you so much. But, Mark, I don't know. Tell me who you think that is. I'm not sure. It looks like Grummet or somebody like that, but I could be mistaken. Because, again, I couldn't find the artist on it. Obviously, the background is on Kirby page, but Kirby pinup. But that's, yeah. But I don't know. Could be wrong, man. I would be interested in your insight. We like to play art spotters. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Again, there are not too many shows out there. I got to watch old stuff, and I got to get. I'm always in a Star Trek mood, of course. Who isn't? What Trek fan is it? It's really become my comfort zone. I'm about to start jumping back into some animation. Too cartoonish for Grummet. That could be, man. But I've never seen him draw the Thing before, have you? Definitely not getting an argument out of me, dude. I couldn't find the artist. He looks familiar, but it's pretty nice stuff. So, yeah. That's a nice piece, so I put it up there. So I do not know, man. But that could be the case, man. Looks like it's for Grummet. That's not Ron Wilson for sure. But yeah, so anyway. I don't know, man. I wish they made more good stuff. I wish I could get out of this I can't watch new stuff thing. This modern aesthetic really bothers me with anything new. Because people all the time will talk about some new or some modern show. I have to go. Need to get up early. Oh, the review STD. Oh, for Loki's going to be reviewing that tomorrow. That's right, everyone. By the way, the great Chris Persia. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. I'm about to wrap it up in a second anyway. But I thank you so much. And you guys are, oh man, I don't envy you at all. Tomorrow morning on Loki's Mornings of Mischief, Chris Persia and all you guys are going to be reviewing the new episode of STD. Yuck. Ugh. No, that's cool, man. I won't be around. I'm not gonna hang too much longer, man. I was on Noel stream for so long today. I just wanted to pop on for a little while. There's so much. You all know what's going on in the world right now, and I won't talk about it, but I'm super stressed out by it. I can't lie. I'm having serious heartburn over it now, and I'm a wreck. I've been a wreck since last night. You all know why. So I'm just kind of wanting to have a little bit of fun, just geeking out a little bit, and kind of looking back at the fun we had Monday night that I had with Carlos. So take care, brother. But yeah. So Saturday night, my friends, we should be talking about some Star Trek comic books, the history of Star Trek comics. It's a weird one. It's a weird history. Well, appreciate it, Bug Man. You've been such a great new pal, man. Eric, look at Eric K popping in there, man. What's up, bro? Another great Master Wrench. Okay, Raquel, I'll be here. I'll be here for a little longer. Hail to you, sir, the great Eric K. I have two of the great wrenches of all time that have popped in here. What is going on, buddy? It's good to see you. Where was I? But yeah, I popped on. Let's see. So wait a minute. So that means Chris is probably gone. So STD drops tonight. Oh yeah, it drops Thursdays. Real late. I see. That's right. Wow, you were making fried chicken, man. I want some, dude. I have terrible heartburn from a damn salad dressing that I just ate, but I still want some fried chicken. Wait a minute. You're not in Louisiana. You can't make fried chicken. Just kidding, you can. Tim, in my opinion, you say it sounds horrible. In my opinion, it's horrible. Now, look, you have defenders of it, sure. I love classic Star Trek. This show is trashes. The ones I've seen and the ones I've looked, I've watched. There are people who review it and tell you all the details. It trashes the Gene Roddenberry message, the Roddenberry dream, the Roddenberry vision, if you will. It is absolutely horrible. It's disgusting garbage in every single way that it can be, like P. Hart is. And again, that's my opinion, the opinion of many, but it's not everyone's opinion. But it is a popular. But I'll tell you this: it's hemorrhaging ratings. What little it had in the first place, it's super down. And again, what few ratings it has. So yeah, I think it's garbage. But again, Star Trek is. I don't like. A lot of people say it's dead. It's dead in the sense of, yes, it's not coming back anytime soon. But is it possible that somebody might one day stick Star Trek in a photon tube and in a photon torpedo, shoot it off to the Genesis planet, and have its cells regenerated? I'm going to need. There are going to be certain requirements for me as a Star Trek fan to watch to give another Star Trek show a chance. I'm sure everyone probably has a different, criteria for that. Maybe, I don't know. But I have. Mine would be you discard all the filth done after 2005. Stop making freaking prequels. Look, I'm that one of those weirdos that loves, and I say that jokingly, who loves Enterprise. And I make no apologies for it. I joke about it, but I make no apology. I love it. I get some people don't. I'm willing to talk to anybody that does. And I even understand some of the criticisms. But I love Enterprise, and yet multiple things can be true at the same time. A prequel was probably not the best idea. Or maybe it should, maybe it would have worked better if they'd done like a couple of, like a TV movie prequel or a TV miniseries prequel, and then do another series. Be that as it may, I still love it. I love the characters. I think they have a lot of great stories. I think, with the wonderful Raquel and I have talked about that quite a bit, about our favorite episodes of the series and stuff. We plan to talk about it some more because we believe it doesn't get enough love, and in fact, it gets a lot of hate. But which episode were you watching there, Eric? But I still think you should probably keep Star Trek at its very core is about going forward. It's forward thinking. So, and prequels, remakes especially are about going backwards. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Mark, with a C. So the STD episode with a Burnham. Yeah, well, yeah, not having. I can see we're suffering that show, and not having to see Burnham would help. Michael Burnham and Mikey Spock is a guy calls her. Here's the thing about that, Mark. See, yeah, I 100% agree that even if there was something that could be good, Kurtzman would screw it up. It would still be a Pike series and therefore set in the past, and it wouldn't be my druthers. Plus, let's say Kurtzman left it, but if they set it with that same Pike, set in that same STD, timeline, then it would be no deal for me anyway. Ah, yes, that was Carpenter something. Carpenter Street? Yeah. Yeah, that episode was called Carpenter Street, if I do remember correctly, Eric K. Um, that was, the Zindi season, I do have a lot of issues with taking up a whole series arc for that season. Never, because I was talking about this earlier, story arcs. But I do like that. That one was, that one was kind of like the obligatory. We got to go back in time episode. I wasn't super big on that one. It was okay, but they have some really good standalone stories, even in that third season, that take place, that aren't all that tied in. Sort of like tangential to the Zendi story arc. That aren't really, all that connected with it. Can we get a new Star Trek? No. That's one thing. Look, all the Star Trek series, even the fake ones that they make now, all of them have time travel. Well, PR didn't yet, but you never know. They're probably never making that again. SCD, of course, done it. But I mean, the real Trek series, too. Original series did it. Next Generation did it. Deep Space Nine did it. Voyager did it. And now, and Enterprise did it. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Again, and that's what I loved. Enterprise. I see people will say Enterprise only got good in the fourth season. I disagree. I like the fourth season, fine, but I love a lot of episodes in the first season. Are there clunkers? Sure. I think the second season is even better. Clunkers, okay, yeah. I like the third season. The whole Zindi arc thing, It was okay. Don't get me wrong. I just really would have preferred not doing that. I mean, you'd already done it with the Dominion War type thing. I really just wish it had been a story. The 9/11 parallel thing is tough to resist because it really tugs at your heartstrings. And I thought it was very well done when they started it out. It could have been done a lot quicker than a few episodes, but it was still a good show. Don't get me wrong. I still love it. I could have done without that being a long arc for a whole season, but and then they continue into the. You hadn't seen it yet, so I won't spoil it, Eric, in case you haven't seen it yet. But I do like that season. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot but the standalone episodes in that season for me are the best ones. And in the fourth season, again, not spoiling anything for anyone, but in the fourth season, which is really good, they do tend to have more multi-part stories instead of standalone stories. Now they're good multi-part stories, but there's a couple of 3-parters and 2-parters, and not as many standalone one episodes. And again, if they had gotten their just desserts and gotten a 5th, 6th, 7th season, maybe they wouldn't have done that as much. I don't know. Yeah, the Dominion War wasn't my. Yeah. Again, there was some good stuff in it. Don't get me wrong, but again, it wasn't super necessary. But it was okay. I love this. I love these things. I got you. I haven't watched it since on the air. I watched it all when it was on the air, and then I would watch episodes over and over again, and I binged it several times since then. So yeah, I love it. But a lot of people have not watched it since it's on the air. They're Eric, so which is cool now because you got something in a sense that feels more new to watch. So that's cool. So I like that. That's good. Now, I'll be interested in knowing what you think about it overall when you get done there. But I've heard even Az is watching it. The great Az from Heel versus Babyface. No, it was cool. And I heard he's even watching that now. He's a big Next Gen fan. But so I love Enterprise. It takes a lot of abuse. And look, people are entitled to their opinion, and that's fine. I kid around, but it does get treated like the quote unquote redheaded stepchild of Star Trek, doesn't it? And it even now a little bit. No, not as much as those new ones, but I mean, man, the Star Trek message boards back when Enterprise was on the air were brutal. They did not need the Dominion War. They still had so much to tell. I guess it was a way to wrap up these. Yeah, it's I hear you. Yeah, they should have. Yeah, yeah. The Temporal Cold War was also a bit of a narrative mistake, I would say. But yes, Eric, I don't hate the Dominion. I think they did a lot of good things with it. It was pretty interesting. But I'm not sure I would have chosen if it were up to me. Would I have chosen that path? But what can you do? I'll tell you what kind of aggravated me a little bit more. I don't like what they did. I mean, because I love Cisco. I don't like the way they fiddled around what they, all the prophets crap and all that stuff with his origin. And that last episode, man, it's got problems. The stuff Kai Wynn and Ducat stuff and the Power Wraith crap. Oh my God, that's tough to watch. It was a good episode if you just run through some of that crap. But yeah, it's a great show. So maybe most fans don't agree with that assessment. I like Enterprise from the beginning there, Mark, with the C, but that is kind of the popular opinion on that people thought it hit its stride. And yes, not many people liked the Temporal Cold War. I can't argue with that, Mark C. I still like I really do like the ship a lot. The NX, I have the model and different things. But I like I just love I love it all. I love the designs. Nevertheless, your point is not wrong. I can't say it's wrong that as far as the evolution of the form goes, no, I can't argue with you there, brother. Still like it though. Never watched a few episodes of Voyager until last year. I watched the series. I doubt I will watch any of that ever again. Because I was late to giving Deep Space Nine a chance. It was only like back in 2016 when I went back and rewatched it all and got hooked on it. And at that point, because Star Trek was being destroyed, but by Discovery and things like that, by STD, I decided. But now that I had, of course, watched the original series a billion times and will always watch it over and over again, and watched Enterprise a billion times and watched Next Generation, almost all of it, pretty much all of it, but I didn't think I missed any. And after I'd gotten through watching Deep Space Nine for the first time all the way through, I decided I'd seen a little bit of Voyager. Like you, I had not watched much of it. And we have I think the lady had to leave, but the wonderful, lovely lady, Miss Katie Carr, who is the biggest Voyager fan I know of. She is a wonderful sweetheart who loves the show Voyager. And I would dare say probably knows it better than anybody. Yeah, I bet she really does. But she really loves that show. And I went back and I thought, oh, you know what? Look, it's whatever you think of it, it is in the real Star Trek canon because and it belongs. And I thought I'm gonna make myself watch it all. And I enjoyed it. There's some episodes I thought were really good, and I like it. And I'm far more well disposed toward it than I used to be, especially the extraordinary Jerry Goldsmith opening theme of Voyager, which is beautiful, a beautiful piece of music. It's really fantastic. I love Robert Picardo as the holographic Doctor. So I like it, and again, it's my least favorite. However, it's I guess, and I do understand this is a factor because things are so bad. Sometimes, people look in the rearview mirror and can go back and say, that wasn't so bad after all. Now, how as bad as things are now, and there's some geek examples of that, in my opinion, out there. I can give you a few, but I enjoyed it, and it was okay. And, so now I kind of pick. I like the Barclay episodes, by the way. I pick and choose. I jump all over the place, and can watch some here and there. But do I binge it a lot and watch them over and over again? Not really. But I do like it. I think there's some really good, there's some good Voyager in there. I really do think so. But sometimes things get so bad. Something you may not have liked 20 years ago just doesn't seem so bad. Time healing a wound. Wounds all wounds. Wounds all heals. Only thing I'm not watching this either. Yeah, those aren't Star Trek. I couldn't even get to the first 10 minutes of Lower Decks. Yeah, I don't blame you, Eric. It's garbage. Talk about an unpopular opinion that I can't. Everybody that I know of, this shifts gears a little bit, and then I'll let you all get out of here. I'll get out of here. But boy, this would get me in trouble if I had like people, if I actually had anyone listening, like a big audience. But so it's just a few of us here. So the movie Dredd, a lot of people love that, love that movie. I'm a big Judge Dredd fan. I know I switched from Star Trek to comics a little bit. Comics. I gotta tell you, I hate the living crap out of the movie Dredd. I'm that guy. Now I love Gary Nerdrotic and all these other people. Gary loves that movie, and a lot of people love. He's not alone. But the majority. Sometimes you just know when you just can't beat the crowd, or when you know that everybody loves it. Yeah, Dredd with Carl Urban. I love Carl Urban. I have some theories about that. It would get me in trouble if it got out there. And I'm joking. It's just an opinion. I friggin' hate that movie, and this is coming from somebody who loves the character of Judge Dredd. And I remember after I went to see it, I had friends telling me, "Oh man, if I made a good Judge Dredd movie, you're gonna love it." Because I didn't get to go on the first day like I normally would because I was doing something. I had to go like the second night. A friend of mine, another Judge Dredd fan, and again, in my opinion, that stupid Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd movie is so embedded in Dredd fans' brains that you had no bar to reach. I'll say this about the Stallone one before I get back into Dredd. The Stallone one, he sucks. He's terrible. I like Sylvester Stallone, but he's no Judge Dredd. He took that role, and I was cringed the day I heard he was going to be playing Judge Dredd. Went to the theater anyway. The movie, the look of Mega City 1's terrific. A lot of the hardware, the costume, the Angel Gang, a lot of it. But, oh yeah, well look, I mean, anytime anyone says I like this or I don't like that, Tim, yeah, it's just an opinion, man. And then when he says, the law, I wanted to break things, a lot of things. Because I love Judge Dredd. I've been a fan of Judge Dredd for 40 years. I mean, I just love him. So, but that movie had most of the elements that were from a Judge Dredd thing. The story had some of it. It's just Stallone was wrong, and he ruined the friggin' movie. Wasn't that good anyway? It was just kind of a silly popcorn movie. But he really made it. Oh, God. But anyway, so you fast forward to what? 25 years later, whatever it was. 26 years, whatever it was. I forget exactly the year that Dredd was released. And I remember I wrote this scathing-ass review, and I got on my show, and I yelled and screamed like a maniac about it. I hated it. And I hate it because there is no, in Dredd, by the way, I get that I'm alone in the wilderness on this. Actually, when I was doing my show, my friends doing the show, it's probably 2 friends doing the show with me. We almost never agreed on anything. They also hated it. But so there are 3 of us in the world. Other friends are like, what the hell's wrong with you? Carl Urban's fantastic. The outfit was pretty good. And he is great. Performance, there's no problem. But if any of you have seen the movie, there's, other than calling him Judge Dredd, they left out so many, and I understand it was not a big budget. The great Loki's Mornings of Mischief. Thank you for popping in, buddy. I was just finishing up here, getting myself in trouble being unpopular. The fucking Carl Urban Judge Dredd film that people love so much. It has none of the satire of the comic book. It has no story. I really hated that they turned Judge Anderson into just a normal judge. He's supposed to be a side judge. It's a gruesome, ugly, moronic shoot 'em up with no story, filled with a bunch of disgusting, some of the violence is over the top, like blood, bullets flying through somebody's stomach, people splattering all over the fucking ground. And it just had no story. None of these, Judge Dredd is in the comic. It's black humor. It's dark satire. That is a rumor. Look, it's the cat's out of the bag. Loki's the man, by the way. We're talking about you earlier, buddy. Yep, because you have the unenviable task of reviewing STD tomorrow in the morning. Man, dude, I don't. Chris Persia was telling me that. I don't envy you there, my friend. But yes, to me, they had no elements of the Judge Dredd comic book in it whatsoever. But in my opinion, because of the stupid Stallone film, I think a lot of people were just so happy to see a guy who looked the part, played the part well. He really acted well as Dredd, and he was going to shoot him up, and he was judging people and shooting them and all this kind of crap. But they forgot to bring a story. It was just a dumb shoot 'em out block war. And it wasn't even a block war like they did in the comic books. It had no humor. I mean, none of the black humor really that much. It's just, again, could have been so good. Even though they didn't have a budget, they had to go inside most of the time because all the exterior shots look like Detroit or some shit. And again, I do understand they did not have a big budget. But look, the Stallone movie at least acts more like the comic book. So I hate the Dredd film, but man, when you hear people go on it, you would think it is the greatest film ever made to some people. So it's dropped already? Loki, the STD is dropped already then, huh? Wow. Oh, man. Holy shit, dude. Sorry to hear that. Sorry you had to sit through that. Enterprise model kit refit looks really cool, so you can see. Yeah, you know what? Hey, we're going to be doing a show on Starships soon. And, hey, Mark with a C. Look, I love the original series. And it's almost blasphemous to some people. The Enterprise refit for the motion picture is my all-time favorite spaceship. I love it. I missed last week, so I watched it. Oh, well, dude, I can't wait. I got to try. I'm going to make myself get up to listen to that, man. It's going to be fun. Mark C. Oh, you watched last week. Oh, I'm sorry. I hear you. I'm sorry, I mixed it up. I'm sorry about that, Loki. If they did the Urban Dredd film with the look of the Stallone film, I would have gone from liked it to loved it. I still think it's one of the best uses of 3D I've ever seen. Okay. I watched it in 2D at the theater one time, and yeah. So I don't. But I hear you. I just seeing bullets, pass through a person. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. Look, I know everybody I've talked to, but two guys who used to do my two buddies who used to do the show with me back when it came out. Who still sometimes I do the show with one of them, Flash and Matt. They hated it as much as I did, and we never agreed on it. One of the reasons why we had such a lot of fun on that show is they hardly ever agree with me on anything when it comes to movies, but they hated it as much, which I was surprised. Oh man, dude. Oh yeah, Loki, dude. I was planning it on fairly soon because all starships in science fiction, just basically what your favorite ones are. I've been thinking about doing that for a while. My favorite of all spaceships is Enterprise refit from the motion picture used in the films, even though I love the original series Enterprise. And yeah, dude, I will definitely hit you up if you want to be there for that. That would be so much fun, man. I love starships. Yeah, the Defiant was Eric K. Yeah, what thinks it does not look like a Federation ship. No, but it was a prototype designed to fight the Borg. Ship Enterprise. Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah, Well, the Constitution class ship came a good while after Archer's time, man. So, I don't know. I think you could have done some of it, Mark, but I mean, you could have had a better story. I don't know. I mean, Judge Dredd had crazy in the comics. It was not a shoot 'em up. I mean, it had violence, but it was crazy science fiction satire and stories. And I don't know. I mean, if you're saying it wouldn't work, it only works as a shoot 'em. I don't know, because see, in that film, the Carl Urban film, the woman in it, the female judge, Judge Anderson, was wasted because Judge Anderson, for those who've read Judge Dredd, would know the Judge Death story, which I love. They could have adapted Judge Death. Judge Anderson was a side judge, a psychic judge. They called them side judges. And the first Judge Death story, that would make a great movie. I guess nobody would. Maybe you're right. Maybe no one would want to see it. If it were a series, it would work better. But Judge Death. Some of the great Judge Dredd stories. I'm gonna do a Judge Dredd show one of these days. I need to, because the comic was so great. And Judge Caligula, The Curse at Earth, Blockmania, Apocalypse War, the Judge Death, all those great Judge Dredd stories. Man, look. Oh man, those are some great comics, man. Judge Dredd was huge in the those Titan albums that were coming out for the 2000 AD reprints, and then in the mid 80s when they started doing American comic book reprints of it, it was huge. A buddy of mine tells the story. When Judge Dredd #1 from Eagle Comics came out back in like 84, 5, whatever it was, he was at a con, and he bought that at a con he was at, and Walter Koenig, who, by the way, Walter Koenig, yes, Chekhov, collected Big Little books. Do any of you know what Big Little books are? It's kind of, if you don't, you got to be old, I guess. But he also liked comics. He saw my friend's copy with the Brian Bold cover and everything of the first issue of Judge Dredd. He said, "Where did you get that?" That came out? He said, "Yeah, it was right over there on the table." He said, "Could you go get me one?" So he got to buy Walter Koenig a comic book of Judge Dredd. But anyway, yeah. So Judge Dredd was great in the 80s. Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying about the Defiant, but it was a prototype ship that was too. It was actually. It was too. It was It kind of got. It was meant to fight the Borg, and then they had problems staying. Shaking apart because it was too powerful. And yeah, but I like the Defiant. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't look like a Federation starship, but it's not really supposed to. It's a warship, and they were shocked in that episode of Deep Space Nine when it popped up. I can't believe the Federation made a warship. I've always thought the Federation should have cloaking technology instead of having to borrow it from the Romulans. They think it's unethical somehow, not have cloaking devices. No, come on. I don't think it was unethical. But anyway, yeah, what are you going to do? Anyway, well, look, man. I appreciate everyone popping in tonight. It has been so much fun hanging out. And I did a little recap in there of some of the show I did Monday night with Carlos about my favorite comic book character, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. I had a wonderful time talking with him the other night. Anybody who is interested in that character, my favorite, Aunt Petunia's favorite nephew, we had a great time talking about his history and some of his best stories. Ben J. Grimm, the ever-loving Clobberrn thing. And so that was great. And I have tons of links below me in the description below of a lot of other great YouTube channels. One, of course, being the great Loki's channel, and many others of my friends that I've made since I come over here. Please go check all those channels out. And this Saturday night, if you're a Star Trek fan and you're interested in Star Trek comics, as you can see at the bottom there, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Central, I will be talking about, and hopefully my friend Claude is joining me. Mark, so you can tell you that he was an unreliable son of a bitch. Nice. Well, he is, though, anymore. Hopefully he's joining me. And we will go through the history of Star Trek in comics. And it is a rich history. It's been around a long time. So I guess I'm going to go around the horn here and say my goodbyes. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I am just so pleased you all stopped in to hear me talk about nothing for a couple hours. Of course, she's probably, I hope she's getting some sleep now, but she was so sweet and kind to pop in. The wonderful, beautiful Purple Valkyrie popped in earlier at the beginning. And whether she hears this or not, I love you. You are a wonderful lady, Purple Valkyrie. She is just so awesome. The beautiful, fantastic, and talented Raquel Briggs. Thank you for popping in. The lovely Katie Carr also popped in earlier. I want to thank you. Oh, that's cool. Raquel, that's okay. I will just wrap it up anyway. I'm so glad you were here tonight, Raquel. Thank you. I'm so honored and pleased to see you, my friend. We will be doing a Star Trek show very soon. We talked a little Trek while you were gone, but, you know, we do that here, as you know. And, of course, the other lady who popped in, because, you know, you got to talk about the ladies first because they are more important than us dudes, to me anyway. Moira Kitty also popped in earlier. Moira, thank you so much. The great Mark C., my sometimes partner in crime. He and I will be talking about something soon. Doing a show together soon, of course. The great Loki popped in. Loki's Mornings of Mischief. Buddy, I cannot thank you enough for stopping in. I am honored that you have, sir. The great Chris Persia was here earlier, and I want to thank him, one of the great master wrenches. Eric K., my old bud, my new old bud, because we haven't known each other that long, but he has been a great pal to me in the chats, and he is also a great wrench. And thank you, Eric K., for being here. I wish, Rico. I wish. Mark with a C, I want to thank you for being here, my friend. Thank you so much for popping in. Smart Steve, if you're still out there, brother, thank you for popping in. Always appreciate it. But I hope I'm not forgetting one. Tim Hayes, I want to thank you, sir, for popping in. It is. I'm very honored that you did so, and I thank you so much. I don't know if I covered everybody because, again, you all know my memory. But I tried. And so let's hope I did. Oh, Canadian Spider-Man was here earlier. I forgot about that. The great Canadian Spider-Man who does whatever a Canadian spider can. I want to thank him as well. Again, see you all Saturday night. And of course, I'll be lurking around all kind of other wonderful streams as well. And thank you so much. Again, I just don't like saying goodbye because you're all so amazing. But I guess I have to. Since I promised to say goodbye, I guess I have to do it now. Thanks so much, gang. We'll play with this great, amazing intro, outro that the magnificent Sterling Loki made for me. Good night, everyone. Take care.